everyone, welcome to your Daily Mix. I'm your host, Edward Choy, and we are coming to you from the studios here at the gym at 316 Jalan Besar. What is this show? Your Daily Mix is a brand new online show that's going to bring you the latest and the greatest from esports and entertainment. We'll also have the occasional Singaporean music talent, the very best of them, and we'll be catching up with some very familiar faces as well as some new ones that you probably haven't met before, because we want to find out how everyone is keeping up in these stay-home times. Now, before we continue, here's a bit of a disclaimer for you. We are taking every precaution to make sure that we minimize exposure and we maintain safety distance here in the studios. We are working with just a skeleton crew. There are people in separate rooms. Everyone is making sure that they're not shaking hands, they're not hugging, they're definitely not kissing, and if anyone coughs, they are out of here. All right, we'll make sure everyone is safe. Look, we know that these are really extraordinary times. But Singaporeans, we're still working, we're still creating, and we want to bring all these stories to you here. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your Daily Mix. Our guest is the founder and CEO of the Ocean Purpose Project. She also happens to be a former Singapore Idol finalist. It's Mathilda D'Silva. We want to just catch up with you a bit. What have you been up to in the last few years? It's been a while since we've seen you.
It's been like 10 plus years. I've really been up to a lot. I became a TV producer on Channel News Asia, and then I was on radio on 2 stations, and from there I moved into social media, and it just went, there's a whole lot of things that I was doing.
Right.
But in the recent years, I've just kind of started thinking about sustainability, also because I had a bit of a health issue.
Right.
That was caused by water pollution.
Whoa.
And then, while I was going through, the process of getting better from that, I also then realized, like, okay, there's got to be a purpose to what I'm doing. I'm the kind of person that's always doing like 5 or 6 different things at the same time. We've got this project on and that project. And I was like, okay, I would love if all of these projects had a purpose to it. And it led to the ocean, which is what I'm passionate about. I do dragon boat and I paddle stand-up paddle. So
wow.
That's something that I really wanted to work on. So that's where the Ocean Purpose Project was born.
We were thinking about straws not too long ago. It was just last year.
Yeah.
And then right now, you want to talk to people about straws, they'll be like, please, we've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
We've got much bigger things to worry about.
That's true.
Is it hard to talk to people? Is that really something that you feel you have to put on a back burner now?
I think for the social enterprise that I run, which we don't just look at plastic pollution as an issue, we look at water pollution as an issue, but we also focus a lot on solutioning. So I think it's true, at a time like this when people are concerned about jobs, about health, really life or death situation, plastic or recycling.
Or saving water even.
Yeah, it's not something that's on top of the agenda, but I think what COVID is teaching us as a global community is that the actions of, some of us affect the rest of the world. And if we ignore the environment, literally we are in a situation where everyone around the world has to face an invisible enemy, right? Which is what this virus is. So I think it really also puts people in a different space where we start to realize how interconnected we all are. Because climate change and plastic pollution, that's just maybe something that's coming up. Probably in another few years, we're going to face another situation where plastic pollution and water pollution is just going to be so grave that the whole world will be affected.
Let's take you back to happier times now. Let's rewind maybe a bit more than a decade ago. You were in Singapore Idol, you just came out of it. Do you feel that people these days still recognize you? Did that open any doors for you, do you feel?
Oh, immensely. I didn't realize what a gift Singapore Idol was, actually. I just thought I was in a singing competition, right? And that's the end of that. But that was pretty much how I got my job at MediaCorp as a producer. And I was always the contestant that was like, obsessed with what's going on with the camera angles, the lighting or the sound man, and the camera crew and the sound crew were always like my buddies, right? We were chatting and learning more. And I really wouldn't have gotten where I am today without that competition. But you know, it's funny because sometimes you sit in the MRT, right, and you get like people looking at you like, and I'm like, no, I'm not a long lost relative. I was on TV and they're like, yes, you're the Vasantham star. I'm like, no, that's not me. And they're like, wait a minute, aren't you the actress on Surya? I'm like, not really, but kind of. So it's nice to be remembered. I mean, just a couple of months ago, I was on stage and I was singing and performing, and DPMing passed by and he was like, very familiar. And I'm like, okay, no. Yeah. And it happens sometimes when I'm in meetings for OPP with ministers or with like, you know, bosses of companies, and they're like, I know your face from somewhere, and it just breaks the ice.
Nice.
So I think, you know, like it's something that I'm actually really proud of. Of course, if you're dating somebody, they like instantly go and like Google search your name, and then they find a lot of stuff on YouTube,
right.
Which is like, you know, me in Singapore Idol with like, you know, whatever nonsense costumes I was wearing. So yeah, I mean, it's a great talking point.
There's going to be a renewed focus on the environment and what we need to do to save the planet. One of the technologies that you're involved in converts waste plastic to fuel.
That's right.
Is that really possible? How efficient is this technology?
So it's already been done. In fact, for a couple of years, there's already been plastic to fuel technology that's been out there. But what OPP does is we really want to show people that you don't have to be an engineer or a government or wait for someone to like, you know, like find a solution like this. I mean, last year when we ran our pilot test in Indonesia in an island called Pulau Medang, it was literally me, ex-Singapore Idol. I know nothing about petrochemical or all of this stuff,
right?
Or engineering for that matter. A Pilates teacher by the name of Lisa Jones, who's from England, as well as 3,000 islanders with only one of them that spoke English.
Oh, wow.
You know, and literally what that project did was within months, we were able to mobilize all 3,000 islanders to clean up their beaches. And with the provision of this machine, the plastic to fuel machine, we were also able to turn all that waste plastic into fuel that the villagers could then use for their generators. Now they have electricity, they have internet. And in a poor person's hand, where, you know, let's say if they're living in a polluted area, they can't have access to, you know, their own fishing boats because it's covered by 2 or 3 meters of plastic. You know, this is something that when you tell them that, okay, I'm not just some foreigner that's coming to take photos and look good on Instagram Live and feel good about myself. We really want to create a solution that's meant for you, that's a turnkey solution, that is literally going to also put money in your pocket or even help you take care of your own family. So for them, seeing the plastic to fuel solution also made them go, okay, this is something that I can get behind. Because if I clean my beaches, I'm literally going to have fuel that powers my generator.
Wow.
And so, you know, that was also part of the behavior change experiment. So that pilot project is something that we want to take and make it bigger, reach out to more remote, poor coastal communities, but also do something in Singapore that combines all these elements of tech. You know, we also had like education stuff that we did with the kids. Part of their school curriculum is collecting plastic at beaches. And of course comes the plastic to fuel stuff. So really it's about saying, how do we focus on the solution and show people that it's actually not hard. I'm not an engineer, neither am I, you know, like the person that built the machine, but really it's about ideas and creative people getting together and getting this done. So yeah, I mean, you know, that's really where I think the focus comes.
That gives me some real hope, because there's always this sense of existential dread that always creeps up when you think about the environment and the direction in which you're taking. So I know you have a message for a very special group of people also. So what's that message? What would you like to say to them?
Okay, so this message actually goes out to everybody that is working in health services, but also all of the people that are on Frontlines. And by that I mean our cleaners, you know, our bus drivers, those of us who work in the transport industry, even like, you know, our hawkers, everyone that is really helping Singapore to function during a time like this. You are very important to us, and you are also, you know, the lifeblood that drives the nation. And so we really thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I have a lot of paddling friends who also are nurses and doctors. really, you are our heroes. And, you know, it's very important for you guys also to take care of yourselves, your families, your mental health. But just remember that, you know, there's millions of people in the country that are just rooting for you and really, you know, looking to you as our beacons of hope. So thank you so much for everything that you've done for us.
So the song I'm going to be singing today is called The Innocent Warrior. It's taken from the Disney movie Moana. And joining me, we have the wonderful Ratchma on the keys. So I'm going to be singing in Polynesian to you first, and then I'll explain a little bit more about the meaning and significance of the song. Oi matai matangi, oi loto mama ina toa, mana atu, taku pele pele, mamai to ma papananga, saulo tonga. So this song was originally written many years ago, and it's called Loimata Imalingi. And it was written after the death of 19 young girls who died in a school fire. And when they were coming up with the movie Moana, they really wanted to include that song into the movie, change the lyrics up a little bit, and use it at the very part where a young baby, childlike Moana actually finds her purpose. And I think it's a very important song, especially for today, because it, you know, from a place of tragedy or crisis, something new can emerge, something beautiful can come forth. And, you know, that's the message of this song, especially for young women, that they are actually able to go off and become these innocent warriors. And this is especially true for all of the children that are going through this crisis today. There is a chance for them to use their ideas and their innocence to come through this crisis and this tragedy with something beautiful. So that's what this song is meant to be.
Mahafine.